bow hunting there too. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about coon trapping. It's kind of the staple. It's what everybody cuts their teeth on. You know, coon trapping is a pretty easy animal to catch. There's several ways you can catch him. One of the things that I do, I went to dog proofs and started catching a lot of animals with dog proofs. And you use those dog proofs around deer feeders and things of that nature. You can set a bunch of dog proofs up, and then weather like this, I always put a little hat on, and I'll take a coffee cup, a white coffee cup, styrofoam cup, and I'll put my bait inside the dog proof. And I got that coon chum. I use it. I use a marshmallow, the big campfire marshmallows. I'll take it, thread it on the trigger of the trap. When that coon sees it, he'll flip that cup off. If it's raining like this, or snowing condition, or sleeting, or anything like that, I'll actually put a cap on it. Then it helps protect your bait, keeps your bait from getting mushy and messed up. Plus, it's eye appeal for the animal. When the animal comes up, he actually sees it, and he'll walk up to it. He's got no problem flipping that cup off. You know, he'll flip it off, and it's you can get 100 cups for nothing. You know, at the store. And I use a lot of that. But dog proofs that I use are these are little grizzlies. I got them set up on a pogo deal. It's a little 12-inch pogo stake system, and you still have the 8-inch chain is what you have. It's a little less than 8-inch. I'll actually put this in and catch him on that. I went in and I caught guy said he had a raccoon problem on his deer feeders. That's tearing his deer feeders up. Most of your hunting leases have problem with deer. The deer and the coon, they'll actually tear the feeders up. They'll chew the bottoms out of them. And the best thing you can do with that is, he told me, he said, we had 68 coon on one deer camera, you know. So I said, well, we need to thin them down. And if you think about your raccoon, he's a ground predator too. He'll actually come in and he'll actually eat all your turkey eggs. He'll eat all your quail eggs and things of that nature too. So what you do is you try to get that population at a good equal deal where the land will actually support those, and then you can come in and you'll be amazed at the turkey population, how it'll take a jump, and your quail population will. As you start culling down your raccoons. Raccoon is probably what I first cut my teeth on years ago when I was a kid. I've been sitting on the board of directors of the Trappers Association for a long time. I first picked the trap up when I was 6 years old, and I did little pocket sets and things of that nature. And I'll show you a pocket set. It's pretty easy to punch in a pocket set. Just throw a little bit of bait up in a hole, set a trap out front, get him off in deep water and drown him if you want to, or just have him sitting there waiting on you when you get up there. But I like to get him in the water and drown him, out of sight, out of mind. You know, get him out of sight and out of mind. But I'll thread this up on the trigger, and when I do, I'll set that cup on top of it, and he comes in. He's got don't discredit a raccoon's nose. Raccoon's got a really good nose on him. And when he comes in, he'll smell your lure and everything. And I usually shoot a shot of fish oil in there. It could be menhaden oil, it could be salmon oil, it could be shellfish oil, it could be anything. Sometimes I'll mix it a little bit, make it be interesting to him. He'll come in and flip that thing off, reach in there and get that marshmallow and pull it up on it. When he does, you got him. He'll be hooked to the plow right there. Went in the first morning, I caught 12 for 12 coons at the first feeder, 12 for 12 coons at the second feeder, 11 for 12 coons at the third feeder. And I thinned the coon population down quick, just with dog proofs, just like that. There's a lot of good dog proofs on the market. Dog proofs are actually coming down now in price. You can get them for $130 a dozen right here now, so they're pretty reasonable. Young trappers is great for young trappers to get out, and they can take the dog proof and put it out. These new ones that Bridger's got out, you can just step on them and they'll set themselves, you know, which is pretty neat for a kid, and that's what it's all about. Get a young'un out, get them outside, show them the outdoors. But I use this particular dog proof. I use a variety of dog proofs, but I like these little grizzlies a lot. I've been using them for quite a bit. You can dye them, you can wax them if you want. I don't wax mine. I'll just dip mine and speed dip, and then I'll set them out, and they're ready to roll. I'll actually boil them down and then dye them, and then I'll be ready to go with them. And I catch a lot of coons this way. I can pile the coons up in the truck real fast that way. Usually what I got to do if I'm canine trapping for coyotes, which I do a lot of that I'm a damage control agent here in the state. I'm a certified damage control agent. So I've been doing that for 21 years now, 21, 23 years. So it keeps me running from property to property. People's got chickens, coons get in a chicken coop, wear out a chicken coop pretty quick. So you can come in with dog crews. The neat thing about it is you can set them in around houses. They tear up bird feeders in and around homes, set them up around that, and you'll never catch, you'll be hard pressed to catch cats and stuff in it. I have caught possums in them, skunks in them, and gray foxes in them. You'll catch a gray fox in one every once in a while. But I use these a lot. And then I'll get to creek banks and I'll start using the boxes, And we'll use the boxes just to try to keep the coon committed when it comes in. Just take these boxes, and we have this set up. Of course, I have safety catches on here. You want it to be that way, so the trap is going to fire like it needs to. But this is set up on a wooden pan. When he comes in, he bumps it with his chest, trap fires on him, and he's dead right there. He's immediately dead. You set that on the ground, camouflage it up a little bit. It keeps a lot of dogs out of it that way. Dog come in, he's not going to get his head down underneath this. Very easy. Another technique that we use a lot is we got over here, we got the box on the tree. Coons like to climb the tree, keeps it out of the range of a dog. He can actually climb that tree, get up in there, and he'll actually get up in there and he commits once he gets into this trap here. Once he gets into this trap, he's got to go in this way. He comes in, goes in. He can go in this way, or you can set it up where he can go in this way. This particular model here's got it where he comes, climbs up and goes down. And see, it's totally dog proof, and you don't catch a dog that way. And that's what we don't want to do. We run into issues before where we get dogs. I know down here in Johnson County and some of the counties around, you have issues with deer dogs, bear dogs, and stuff like that running. So you have to be a little more innovative in how you set your traps up to be able to do that. And that's a great technique. Using these boxes is really good because you take that box, he climbs up the tree, gets down in there, and he's laying in the trap dead. And you keep a dog out of it. So a lot of guys have been using, we about lost our 220, use of our 220 in the state a couple years ago because of dog issue. He got caught in a 220, and he wound up being in trouble, man. And we wound up about losing the 220 on land. But we still can use the 220 on land is what we can do now. But you take this, you take your tie off, and you can set it here. Just loop it around the tree. It's a little quick tie that thing off around the tree. And when he gets in the trap, usually you find him dead right out in front of the box is what you find him. He's dead right completely out in front of the box there. I'll come in a lot of times and I'll take a trowel and I'll set a 220 up in the bank. A lot of times I'll come in, dig a pocket set, and I'll set that pocket set, well, a cubby set basically. I'll come in here and I'll dig me a place out like this. Dig it out square enough to put a trap up in the front of it. And I'll even come back and put a little brush around it. Kind of makes a coon commit when he comes in to the trap set. He's got a duck to go in. That's the idea. You want to get him the duck to go in till you set. This particular box here has a screen on the back of it. And he can smell the bait, but he's got a circle and it forces him to come around the front end of the box. Same on the box on the tree. He can smell the bait, but he can climb all over that tree and able one way in, up, over, and in. When he goes in, he's a dead coon. You set multiple sets up like that. Just take your DeWalt drill motor, cordless and go in there and zip it in the tree and pop that thing right in the tree and set it right up along the creek where you're seeing the coon sign, you're seeing the tracks, the scat. Works real well if you're floating. You can take a float, take your creek boat, put in, and I'll take that and actually float down and I'll pop that thing in on the coon toilet. Everybody know what a coon toilet is? What happens is a coon comes down on the creek and he'll actually defecate right on the edge of the water right there on the tree. He'll come down there and sit, and there'll be just piles of scat right there on that tree. It's a definite sign you got a good population of coon in there, and I'll use that, and I even use the DPs. I take a little little piece of 1.5 PVC pipe and make a C clip out of it. Take a decking screw and screw that in the wall, pop that thing in there. When the coon gets caught in it, I got it anchored off in deep water. He gets caught in that DP, he goes off in deep water and he's dead. It kills him that quick. So what I do here is I just go on and set this 220, and always be mindful that you got to have your safety zone and everything too. I know I've actually been guilty of this myself. You go in, you take a trap, you put a 220 in or something like that, and last thing you do, what you're supposed to do, last thing you do when you set a 220, you're supposed to take your safeties off, right? How many of you forgot to take your safety off? Come in there, a coon's been popped, I mean, he's guilty, I'm guilty. You go in and first thing you do is you got one trigger's fired, or one side's fired and the other one's got safety catch on it. You missed a coon then. So that happens a lot. Get you a good set of setters. These are sleepy creeks.